Hello and welcome to the Bobby and Beardy Show. Today we're going to be talking about Kung Fu Panda 4. I am Bobby. This gentleman over here is...
I think I'm Beardy.
He thinks he's Beardy. He is in fact
Not sure.
Beardy. He's got it. He's nailed it. He's got it in one.
First time.
Oh dear. What intro. 10 out of 10. Maybe you'll do one day.
Don't spoil it for them. You can spoil it later.
Beardy, how you doing? How you been?
I am surviving, but let's go with that so far. It's been a month, it's been a year, it's been long, but I'm enjoying this. Even though we've had a bit of a kerfuffle trying to get the tech sorted, which is definitely your fault, your end, not me, not me at all.
Outrageous claims. Everything is working perfectly on my end. Because I refuse to touch any of the things that I set up like 2 years ago. I'm like, nah, we're done. Have you done anything interesting?
Oh no, honestly, work like this. Like I'm working solidly until like next week. I got a couple of days off. But that's all. I wish I was doing something more interesting. Please carry the conversation.
I'll carry the conversation. To record this podcast, I have paused Wrestlemania Night 2 just before the main event. It's going to be Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes. I watched Night 1 last night, and obviously I've watched the rest of Night 2 tonight. It's been an okay event, but I still think 2 nights is too many nights. It's like 8 hours of wrestling split up over 2 shows. It's fine. There's been some highlights. Amy's watched it with me. She's enjoyed.
Wow, nice.
She's enjoyed the women's matches mostly, and the main event of Night 1, which was The Rock and Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins, which was a fun match because I love The Rock.
I wouldn't have guessed. I've never heard this before.
Childhood hero, wrestling hero, which is a different thing to real heroes. You know what I mean? Anyway, that's quite enough wrestling. Also, my friend Anthony lent me his login for the network and then gave me the wrong password, so I had to buy it myself because he wasn't responding quick enough.
It sounds like you have an addiction to wrestling. That's your problem.
It is one of the few things I ever talk about as something I've done in this segment, but never mind. Anyway, Shut up. We've got stuff to achieve. That's quite enough. That's quite enough pleasant conversation with you, good sir. We're here to talk about Kung Fu Panda 4. Now, let me give you the rundown. Kung Fu Panda 4 is the 4th, you'll be surprised to hear, 4th film in the animated martial arts comedy franchise. And you'll also be surprised to hear that it's the sequel to Kung Fu Panda
2.
3, McBeardy.
So close.
You fool. So close. You fell into my trap. Kung Fu Panda 3 was released in 2016. So it's been a few years. The film was directed, this is Kung Fu Panda 4, of course. We're not going to start going on a massive tangent on Kung Fu Panda 3, I swear. The Kung Fu Panda 4, this podcast is off the rails already. You can tell it's a late one. The film was directed and co-directed by Mike Mitchell and Stephanie Mustaine, written by Darren Lemke, and a writing team of Jonathan Abel and Glenn Berger. Excellent name. Probably not said Berger. Maybe it's got a bit of a twang on it. Who knows? It stars Jack Black as Po, the Kung Fu Panda, with Dustin Hoffman, James Hong, Bryan Cranston, Ian McShane reprising their roles from the previous films. Meanwhile, Aquafina Kiwi. I can't say names today. I'm breaking myself. Kiwi Huan, Ronnie Cheng, Loitan Chin, and Viola Davis joining the cast. This is obviously the worst podcast we've ever done. This is going to be...
Or the best.
On a budget of 85 million. As of today, it's got a box office of 410. So that's not bad. Then some tasty returns. It's actually the second highest grossing film of the year. Can you guess which film's number 1?
I'm gonna say Madam Web.
It's not Madam Web. It's Dune 2, obviously. It's made more money, obviously, being in second place, than Godzilla X Kong, Ghostbusters, Madam Web, and even Jason Statham's The Beekeeper, which I make a joke about that. It's actually in 5th place. So, not bad. Just on budgets really quickly before we get into the actual film. Kung Fu Panda 3 made $521 million American on a budget of $145 million. Kung Fu Panda 2 made 665 off a budget of 150 million. And Kung Fu Panda 1 made 631 million off a budget of 130 million. So, it's still on its. We'll see where it ends up. It's doing all right so far, and it's the Easter holidays still, etc., etc. It could do well, and they've lowered the budget, so even if it doesn't do as well, it's going to make more money profit-wise because they've dropped the budget like over 50 million, 60 million basically. From the previous
I could think of 5 or 6 characters that maybe were paid about 10 million who maybe won't be in the film.
So yeah, big profits around, really, even if it doesn't hit the highs of even Kung Fu Panda 3, which was about 100 million off, lower than the previous 2 in the franchise. So just an interesting, keep it in mind. We'll see where it goes. It's got a runtime of 94 minutes, which immediately makes it a 10 out of 10 movie for old Bobby.
I knew you were going to say that.
But I'll just open my review saying the young kids in the screening, obviously it's a kids film, were not very entertained. To be honest with you, they were not interested in the slightest in the film, as you could tell by their awful behavior. I'm just going to throw in really quickly. I've never seen Kung Fu Panda 1, 2, or 3. This is my first Kung Fu experience.
You had no idea what's going on
with a panda. Biddy, bring me up to speed a little bit, maybe, and tell me the plot of this one and kick us off.
Okay, so Kung Fu Panda 4, obviously, as you said, follows on from Kung Fu Panda 3. Everything is pretty good in the Valley of Peace, where these sort of martial artists live, and Po is reaching the end of his time as the Dragon Warrior. So he is being set the task to pass on that mantle to someone else and become the wisdom of the valley and be like Oogway was in the previous films. And he doesn't want to give it up. He loves Kung Fu. He loves his role. He's scared of change. And this is an element of like the positive messages it's trying to bring, which Kung Fu Panda 1, 2, and 3 did as well. However, this one was a bit more muddied and muddled in the messages, I think. It wasn't as concise. The film itself wasn't as concise. And I do want to say I went into this film hearing a lot about it and thinking... one of the reviews I heard said that it ruined the franchise. The beginning half, I kind of didn't get on board. The second half really picked it up for me. I actually did quite enjoy it. It doesn't feel like a Kung Fu Panda film. It doesn't have the same energy to it. Obviously, a lot of the characters that are in it that are staples are gone. And some of the jokes are very like crowbarred in there. It feels a bit... This is funny. We'll make this fit somehow. It's like I can see someone hammering a jigsaw piece into the film, and just this will be funny. I promise you. But that's pretty much the synopsis. I enjoyed it.
All right, brilliant. There's the review, everybody. We'll see you next time. Okay, so like I said, I haven't seen 1, 2, or 3, so I have absolutely zero emotional connection or understanding of the world or the universe. Or anything, so I'm going in blind. But every film's someone's first film, in a way. The kids in the audience that I was with, this was definitely the first time they'd seen Kung Fu Panda, let me tell you.
Yeah.
And they were not interested.
The lore, you have to have the lore.
You got to have the lore. You got to understand why it's a shame that the Furious 5 are missing, because I'm like, whatevs. I don't think there's anything in this film at all. I think there's nothing there. I think it feels empty, it's shallow and hollow and bland. It very much feels like the bottom of a barrel is being scraped. I think the plot is uninspired. I think that not really much happens in the plot. There's zero connection between Poe and the villain. Although I do enjoy the Poe referring to the villain as the chameleon every time. And you don't need every protagonist and things to have this really deep connection. You don't have to have the villain doesn't have to have been created by the hero, and they don't have to have known each other in school and one like threw sand in one's eyes or you don't need anything like that. But it would probably make a film slightly more interesting if if the hero and villain met before the climax of the film, maybe, because that's pretty much when they meet. It's
But they've done this before.
in this franchise.
Yeah. Yeah, so in Kung Fu Panda 2, the main villain who you actually see in this, it's the peacock character.
Yeah.
He's teased all the way through like the chameleon is in this, but you don't actually do the face-off until right at the end. Whereas in 1 and 3, the characters are brought together earlier on, then they bounce away again, then they come back. Your standard Rocky 4, oh no, we've had a fight. Oh, it's not gone so well. Come back and train. Here we are. So it's been done before in the franchise, and it was better in 2. Like the storyline to this, I understand, like say they need to find a new Dragon Warrior, and it's from a different background. Obviously, in the first film, the idea is that Po isn't disciplined. He's not who you'd expect to be a martial artist, a kung fu warrior, and oh no, it doesn't matter what your background is, you can still come to greatness. This one obviously has that sort of rags to riches turncoat. You can have a bad past and a good future. Again, good message. But all that message keeps getting blurred, especially with like the blatant do less bad now to do more bad later, which keeps getting teased and joked out, and it doesn't make it as clear. The message for the kids isn't as good as it is in 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, I think as a in-universe plot, which is obviously the wrong term to use because in universe you wouldn't refer to it as a plot. Just the idea of making Po, who's clearly a complete imbecile, the spiritual leader of anything, when he's pretty good at doing the punchy Dragon Warrior stuff. I'm like, maybe he doesn't need to become the spiritual leader just yet. Maybe just chill. Maybe, just movie. Oh, think about it. Come on, characters, be real.
The whole point of Po being the Dragon Warrior is that the path that's expected isn't the one that's for everyone. Now they're suddenly going, well, the last guy did this, you do it.
Yeah, get back on the path. I'm like, but this isn't that guy. It's not. Clearly not. That's not what he's here for. And he's putting out terrible like wisdom advice, which was forever misunderstood or just garbage.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. I didn't find Jack Black as Po particularly likable in the film. Is he more likable in the other films? I find him annoying.
No, significantly. In 1, he's probably the best. In 3, there's the backstory with his dad, which adds a bit more of an element. I know it's an animated panda, but still, I felt things. But yeah, no, he's definitely more likable in 1, 2, and 3. I do think that I don't want to say too much bad about it because I love films in general. I will defend most films with my life, but it is a bit of a cash grab. Like they know this will make money. It's got a good cast. It has a draw. It's bright. It's shiny. It's funny. But even then, they've changed like all the floating faces things and the little psychedelic when there's food. It seems like a cheap way to fill some time. That's also quite funny.
Well, it does kind of feel like it feels like the director VHS, director DVD, Disney films they used to make. After they made a good film, they'd then pump out sequels for cheap, to sell on in the home video market. It kind of feels like this because they've got they've really cut down the cast massively.
Yes, but they've still got some big actors though. Like they've still got Bryan Cranston, they've still got Viola Davis, Awkwafina. So obviously they've lost people like Angelina Jolie, Jackie Chan, Seth Rogen, others I forget, Lucy Liu, and the Crane. But yeah, no, that's definitely a big wedge of money still in their back pocket. Which is...
Yeah, well, yeah, and you can tell because the budget's dropped 60 million.
Yeah.
So it does kind of feel like that. And it kind of just feel like they're spinning the wheel, basically, just kind of keep it going, which is weird for a franchise that's kind of like, when was it? 2016? Is that what I said? The last film?
Yes.
Yeah, 8 years have passed. And like, put some better out.
Yeah.
I found, okay. So we've mentioned cast. So I'll say it. Awkwafina. I'm up to here.
Oh, really?
One of those actors, actresses, just feels like you're playing the same character.
Oh, definitely. She's the exact same character she is in Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings.
Yeah, just every film, same thing. It's driving me mad. I'm sick of it. give me a different voice. It's like Chris Pratt doesn't need to be the lead in every animated film other than this. You know,
I don't know.
You don't need the same backing people. Like Kumail Nanjiani in the Ghostbusters, a film I also didn't like. Spoiler. Plays the same character in everything. I'm like, can we get some new blood doing something here? However, while I'm on my Ghostbusters equivalency, unlike Ghostbusters, the baddies in this film have a plot that actually they actually have a plot, unlike the baddies in Ghostbusters, and it makes sense and it works, and they get the thing they want.
Yeah.
Brilliant writing. Incredible. A cheeky bit of betrayal. A thing is passed over. Excellent. Unlike in Ghostbusters, where it just kind of, oh yeah, they just did the thing. So it actually makes sense. So, thumbs up. Thumbs up for me on that one.
Yeah.
I did enjoy the idea of the shape-shifting the chameleon, who can be anyone and do anything, be any strength, anything,
any size,
can intimidate gang leaders, could probably do anything. Really wants to learn kung fu though. Like that's.
Well, doesn't everyone? It's my secret passion.
But it wasn't fun, was it? Though at the same time, really, like it's like okay, so we're in a kung fu universe, fine. But I feel like Chameleon, there wasn't any there was no fun, there was no enjoyment. It was like I'm just gonna learn kung fu. Spoilers, spoiler free.
And that's the way she can play characters well. Viola Davis obviously has a lot of range. Even her role in things like Suicide Squad, she has that dark edge to her that she can play really, really well, and it just doesn't land properly with this, in my opinion.
Yeah,
which is sad to see. Like, yeah,
I don't think she's given enough to do anything. Quite honestly,
True.
I think there's nothing in the script there other than say a few words, and that's that. The parents, Poe's parents, were giving me massive Michael Bay Transformers parents vibes as well. This may be a thing from the previous films too, which they're kind of comic relief that this doesn't know when to stop and stop being on the screen.
No, it's a lot more forced in this one. In the first one, you see Poe's biological dad for the first time, and he says everything that Poe wants to hear. Turns out he's just saying that, and it doesn't equate well. And his goose dad is worried about losing him, and it's a whole story. This time it's just like, we're both his dads. Oh, we're both doing the same thing. Isn't that funny? Yeah, no. It's just, like I said, they're the parts that really felt crowbarred to me. Like the part where they're running after him, and one climbs over the fence, one comes out, and that just felt really forced.
Yeah. And then and then they kind of repeat the same gag several times as well in various scenarios, but it's always the same. Yeah, it's the same joke of pretending to be courageous and brave when you're not, and then running.
I do like, obviously, it doesn't have the same effect every time. One time it works, one time it doesn't. Obviously, not spoiling too much, but I do like that. It's nice to see it not work every time, and it does. It was funny. Again, it was cheap laughs. It was my problem. It was all slapstick and cheap. It wasn't any depth to it. I'm saying this about an animated panda film, but
yeah, but you can say these things because you see this in other animated kids films.
Oh yes, yeah, 100%.
That do nail this sort of stuff, and if like I said, just feels lazy and cheap and just quickly knocked out.
In 2 months, we're going to be saying this when it comes to Inside Out 2, which Inside Out 1 nailed it. It was funny, it was emotional. People use it as an educational tool. Inside Out 2 is going to do the same. They can absolutely nail it if they want. This one just didn't do as well as the previous three.
Yeah. In general, I found the film boring. But it's a short adventure. Essentially, it's leave place, go to place, big fight, end. That's it. I'm not saying every film, every story needs to go from location to location to location to location. Some films go Oh my God, what are you drinking from? Don't interrupt me with your props.
I didn't say anything. I didn't say it.
But it's just dull. It's just like, yeah, go here and then there and then you know, okay, that's the film. Brilliant. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
That's it.
There was a couple of good lines, a couple of good jokes that spurred it along. Some nice symmetry. Like I keep talking about symmetry when we talk about films, and I like seeing it. So there's things I do have to say for that. But it was an entertaining hour and a half, but it wasn't good. But I also have a much lower bar for what's bad than you do.
I feel like actually I say things are good far more than I say they're bad, but we're on a bit of a poor run at the moment, I will admit to you. Yeah. Do you have anything else to add? Do you even have any spoilers to go for? I'm not sure I have too much spoiler talk, to be honest, on this occasion.
There's things I want to talk about that are further on in the story, so they can be classed as spoilers. Brilliant. But other than that, no. I'm happy to move on to that section and see where we vote.
Excellent. Well, I'm giving it a thumbs up as the best Kung Fu Panda film I've ever seen.
I'm going to give it a thumbs up. Like I say, I didn't dislike it. It was entertaining, but it's the same issue I have with like Incredibles 2 didn't do Incredibles 1 justice. It was okay as a standalone. It was fine, but I just expected more and I wanted more, and I was sad.
Yeah, I was joking, by the way, for the audio listeners. I switched my thumbs up to a thumbs down on the sly.
No, he didn't.
I didn't enjoy the film very much at all. Okay, Beardy's got some spoilers he wants to discuss.
So, again, it's not so much a spoiler, but there was something that I from about halfway through the film, I locked on in my mind. I'm like, this is something, I'm going to talk about it. It makes perfect sense. This is genius. And I got to the end, was walking out, Googled it, and it turns out the name is wrong and it doesn't work, which I'm very annoyed about. I thought that the Aquafina's character was Jin, not Zen or Zhen. And I was like, Jin from Juniper City. Well, there's a whole thing here about making Jin from Juniper. She's been made by... No, it's nothing. It's nothing. I had nothing.
No, you just misheard. You misheard for an hour and a half.
Which is so upsetting.
Brilliant.
I think I've said this before in previous...
Sorry that you misheard a name?
No. Not at all. Like I say, there's not much spoiler stuff. This is the problem. It's just from later on in the film. So I did enjoy the slightly oriental version of Crazy Train they put in for the music. I liked that. I expected the Jack Black version of Baby One More Time to be not the end credits music after how much attention it's had. But that is what it is. With this whole balance thing, so I like that obviously the staff of wisdom that he has is the whole yin and yang at the top. Then later on at the end, he's kind of fighting evil Po, which is the chameleon, showing this sort of inner turmoil thing. That also ties in with the fact there's Master Pangolin from... I paid attention. There's Master Pangolin, who's one of the previous Kung Fu masters, and there's a Pangolin who's one of the thieves. So again, it's people can be both sides of things. I don't know if that was an intentional thing, or maybe they just went, no, we've animated one before, why not? Let's do it. Honestly, my favorite joke that landed, I think, was Scott the fire-breathing crocodile.
I can't even remember it.
He was saying, when he's talking to Master Shifu, he's saying about, I don't remember people, I was fighting this guy, the fire-breathing crocodile. I want to say his name was Scott.
Oh.
And then later on, and then he's later on, who are you? Scott. The fire-breathing crocodile. It was stupid. It was a nice little reference back.
Yeah.
But yeah, the only thing that I didn't really like with the ending of the story is, firstly, why do the villains just go, well, you've defeated that villain, now we've all got our powers back, and there's 50 of us.
Yeah,
bye.
We've been brought back. Yeah, so basically, they go on a quest, old Po and Zen, or whatever Aquafina's character's name is, depending on what Beardy's hearing on the day. They go to stop the chameleon for reasons I can't remember. And then, but really, they just want to get the Staff of Wisdom off Poe, and Poe gets trapped in a magical ball that he can't get out of. So he passes the staff through to Aquafina's character, and then immediately like, oh, big time betrayal. Actually, I am bad after all. A character who's been saying they've been bad the entire film. And then she turns out good. But yeah, so the chameleon really wants to learn kung fu and has been using magical powers because she's a supreme sorceress, but really needs to learn kung fu. I feel like I'm saying it in a funnier way than the film presents it.
Yeah, you are.
This is what I mean. There's nothing there. That could be really quite comical, but it's just no. There's nothing there. It's bland.
They take it really seriously.
Yeah. And then. So she starts bringing back all the old characters and some probably new ones because there's a gazillion of them maybe. And yeah, Poe wins by beating up a chameleon version of himself. And then they all just leave. They've all been brought back from the dead.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, actually, mate, didn't like being temporarily put in a box for 10 minutes?
So with all those characters, all these villains, they're brought back from the spirit realm. And obviously the whole thing with Tai Lung from the first film, he sent to the spirit realm, that's absolutely fine. All of it makes sense. But with Kai, the ox-looking one, in the third film, he isn't sent to the spirit realm. He's erased from existence. But now he's back. Like, that's not permanent, apparently. I pay far too much attention to these films.
Well, knowing nothing about that, like, can't criticize other than give it a 0 out of 10 straight away for maximum efficiency. It sounds like someone's like, yeah. I got rid of the paperwork. Don't you worry. Just put it in their desk drawer next to all their other stuff. Yeah, we erased. Yeah. I definitely shredded it. It's done in the drawer.
Other jokes, when they're being chased through Juniper City with the bulls, when he's like, "Oh, that bull," and loads of bulls running at them. I liked that. I was thinking the whole time, they better do a bull in the China shop thing. They better do it. And then when they squeeze their way through and they don't break anything, I liked that. A little bit of juxtaposition for it. That was okay, but there was significantly more not funny jokes than there were funny.
Yeah. I can't believe we talked about Kung Fu Panda so long already. Have you got anything else to add, or can we wrap up?
I am looking forward to Kung Fu Panda 5.
They might make it. Honestly, they might make it. If they can lower the budget by another 20 million, then...
Honestly, Kung Fu Panda 5, the pick of destiny, I'm on it.
All right, brilliant. There we go. That is our review of Kung Fu Panda 4, a film I didn't enjoy. Well, then, there we go. Yes, excellent. Thanks so much for watching, as always. As a cheeky reminder, we are on Spotify if you prefer to listen there rather than watching our handsome faces. And if you are listening to us there, you can watch us on YouTube and see our handsome faces. We will be back very soon. Not sure what we're going to be talking about, but we'll be back soon, and we hope you will be as well. Thanks so much for watching. Farewell.
Bye-bye.
Can't believe you liked it. That's disgusting.
It was funny. It was childish. Like I say, it wasn't a good film, but I've seen a lot of films that I wouldn't class as good films that I could just sit down and mindlessly watch.
Oh, I don't think I could mindlessly watch that. I think I'd be annoyed.